Hey guys, it's on site, and today we're going to be doing a tier list. I know I haven't uploaded in like a couple weeks or something like that, but I'm recording footage. That's all I can say. Anyways, fellas, I was just sitting on my couch and I was just thinking. I was like, damn, I haven't uploaded in like 2 weeks. I should probably upload a video. Maybe I should record some Elden Ring gameplay. And then I did. And then it sucked. And then I thought maybe I should just not do gameplay right now and let's just do something creative. Why not? So I just sat and thought. I thought about Elden Ring, thought about the bosses, thought about everything. And then it hit me. Why didn't I rank Elden Ring bosses, strictly the Remembrance ones, based on their likelihood to be doing fent? And then I just kind of sat there and I was like, I'm a genius. How did I never think of this? So then, you know me, I started click-clacketing on the tier maker and I made a proper tier list. The tier lists are very accurate for what I'm about to explain. I thought really long and hard about the names of the tiers, and I'll explain them to you now. So first up, we got the Tuco ranking. If y'all watch Breaking Bad, y'all know who Tuco is. He not only sells drugs, he also does them, so he'd be at the very top. And then we got Heisenberg, another great Breaking Bad reference. He only sells drugs. He doesn't do them, though, but he does sell them. And then we got the 6ix9ine ranking. And now this is where I need you guys to follow me, okay? I have the 6ix9ine ranking here because he more than likely does it, right? But you can't really do it with him because, like, can you? You know? Like, can you trust him? So I got that ranking right there. And then we got the guy from Friends. He does it. Moving on. You got my sister ranking. Now, my sister ranking is like, they don't do it. But if you do it, they're cool, you know? Like, they won't tell him. And then after that, we probably got my most creative tier. It's someone who not only doesn't do it, but will snitch on you for doing it. Self-explanatory. If I'm being honest, I couldn't think of, like, any reference that I could make. So I just typed it all out. Because, you know, why not? And then we got doesn't do drugs, and then we got World War II vet, where if you look at them and then you're like, hey, you want to do some fent? He'll probably look at you like, you know, he got like a fucking mortar shot through him. Because he probably got a mortar shot through him. Alright, I'm not just going to pick anyone in order. I'm just going to pick someone in random that I want to rank. I'll rank, let's see here. Let's rank Morgott. I think Morgott would kind of be in the 6ix9ine range. If you think about it, Morgott's kind of like a bitch, you know what I mean? Like, first he comes up in the beginning of the game as Margit, and he kind of tries to fuck with you then, and then you kind of kill him, and he backs up. And then he comes back, and then you have to kill him again, and then he just bitches to his dad or whatever, and then, you know, his dad's on you. And I just feel like you probably couldn't trust Morgott. I feel like you could probably... Like, Morgott's literally the dude to be doing all the drugs, and then kind of, like, the second they see someone else do drugs, he's like, dude, like, get your life together. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the 6ix9ine tier, I really just thought of Morgott when making that tier. Like, nobody else made sense other than Morgott. You know what? Next, we'll rank Moog. I think Moog, if I had to think about Moog, where would I rank him? You know, he's all about that blood and stuff like that. I feel like he definitely does. I put him at the guy from Friends, where he does it, but that's kind of just it. He just does it. There's nothing more to it. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, Morgott would probably more be like someone who... Actually, no, because Morgott definitely does do it, but he would also snitch, so he'd be more on the 6ix9ine level. Okay, moving on. Let's do Godfrey. Godfrey, obviously this dude's dad, I think, right? I'm getting the lore, right? I would put him under World War II vet. And World War II vet because I think if you went up to Godfrey and you were like, hey, dude, you want to do some fent? He would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Godfrey would not even know what, like, fent is, to be honest. And if he did, I think it would be the scariest thing imaginable. If anything, actually, wait, no. We're going to move him to the guy from Friends. Now, hear me out. Regular Godfrey definitely would be World War II vet. He doesn't even know what fent is. But second phase Godfrey, where he turns into like Horalu or whatever his name is, he definitely did some shit, and it was more than likely he was fent. So that immediately went from like bottom tier to like, yo, he definitely does that shit. I think that's like the most drastic change I could have made. Literally the very bottom where he didn't even know what fent was, to literally like midway, actually literally midway, second phase, he takes all the fent in the world and becomes like probably one of the worst bosses in the game. I don't mean worst boss as in like he sucks. He's actually amazing. I like the character and everything, but like, you know, fent got him, and that's unfortunate. Next, we got Rykard. Unfortunately, I think Rykard would also be the guy from Friends. I feel like a lot of these dudes just do fent. You know what? Next, we're going to do the Regal Ancestor Spirit. If I'm going to be honest, World War II vet for sure. There's no way he goes up. I think he doesn't even know what fent is. If I'm going to be honest, actually, him and, let's see, there's someone here, him and Estelle. Both for sure World War II vets. Now, hear me out. These guys are World War II vets because I feel like these guys are what you see when you do fent. So they definitely don't know anything about fent, but if you do fent, you'll see the Ancestor Spirit and Estelle. So I feel like this is accurate. I don't think anyone else goes in this tier except these two. I guess you could say Rykard, but I think Rykard definitely does do. Like, if we're being honest, like matter of fact, while we're at it, I think Rykard. I think Rykard goes in the guy from Friends. A lot of these dudes are doing fent now that I think about it. But if you look at Rykard, if you look at the boss battle, you literally just see kind of a guy who's, you know, like, why are we there to kill him? He was just minding his own business. Like, sure, he gives us the Blasphemous Blade, but at the end of the day, he kind of just seems like a guy who, you know, you could probably, you know, do some fent with. Next, I'm going to rank Godric. I think Godric doesn't do fent, but I'm pretty sure he would snitch on you if you did it. You know what I mean? Like, Godric is kind of like that bitch, you know what I mean? He's the first Remembrance boss you fight. He's getting a little freaky with some dragon or whatever, which kind of makes me think he might do fent, but I think he might just be lonely. You know, like, I would say that Godric is like a band kid, you know what I mean? Like, he's fucking weird and all that, but he doesn't do fent, you know? You know those band kids that were like fucking T-posing in the hallways and like Naruto running for some shit? I think that would be Godric. That's definitely Godric. No fent, just weird. Renala doesn't do drugs. I don't think Renala does any fent. I think she's too busy, you know, with her little... I think those little mini Renalas, I think they definitely do fent. Or they're a product of fent, which technically would mean she did it. But no, I think they do fent. Renala definitely doesn't do drugs in my opinion. I think Renala is more of just someone who's like you literally beat her to submission, okay? Out of all these bosses, you end up killing them, but her, you kind of just beat her into like, do what I say now. You know what I mean? Like, I think she doesn't do any fent. Actually, I lied. We do beat her to submission, so I feel like she'd be in the my sister zone because I do beat my sister. And I think more of like, you know, like she's cool after you beat her. You know what I mean? Like first she was tripping balls and shit. She's like, you know, like singing or whatever. And then she's like floating for some reason. And then, you know, you have to fight her when she summons her hitters or whatever. But I feel like after you beat her, she's more just like, hey man, just do you. You know what I mean? So I feel like she goes in my sister. I don't think anyone, honestly, I don't think anyone just clearly doesn't do drugs. I think they're a level of whatever these are. Next we got Fire Giant. Let's see. I think the Fire Giant doesn't do drugs, actually. I think he's the one that doesn't do drugs. Now hear me out. The Fire Giant seems more like kind of just some dude who likes going outside and hiking. You know what I mean? He might do shrooms. He definitely doesn't do fent though. Like literally when you go to fight him, he's kind of just chilling in the mountains minding his own business. I don't think he's doing any, I guarantee you, he's doing shrooms. 100%. He literally has two mouths. He has one in his stomach right here, and then one on his head. All the shrooms imaginable, but no fent. Absolutely not. Actually, hold on. I think Elden Beast also is in World War II vet. I think Elden Beast is something you see after doing like way too much fent. These two are like, you know, I just did some fent. This dude is like, holy crap, I'm gonna meet the guy from Friends. Like, you see him when it's over. I just texted something so sweet to my girl. I just texted her that I want to marry her now, and I'm just not gonna let her know that I'm doing a fent tier list right now. Radagon, I think Radagon, for being honest, I don't know about Radagon. I feel like he might be doing it, but at the same time, Radagon's kind of, you know, Radagon might be in my sister tier. I think he might not be doing it, but if you do it, he's kind of chill. Because if you think about it, actually, wait, no, hold on. I changed my mind. I think Radagon actually goes on Heisenberg. Because he's literally, like, you know, the fight with the Elden Beast, so he has some clear relationship to him. So he must have produced this, you know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure Radagon makes fent. We got Flaccid Penis. I think Flaccid Penis does it. Actually, no. I think he does it, but he'll probably snitch on you, if I'm being honest. Flaccid Penis is kind of a bitch. We got Fort of Sex. I think Fort of Sex definitely does it. Not really much else to it. I think he just does it, and, you know, like, everyone kind of knows it. You know, let's get our first Tuco. I'm pretty sure Radon is in the Tuco level. I'm pretty sure Radon makes fent, and then he also does it. Because why the fuck is he like that, you know? Like, the first time you fight him, he's riding, like, a almost dead horse, and then the second time, he's with a fucking femboy. These are the activities of a fucking crackhead. So I'm pretty comfortable with Radon being the Tuco. I don't know if anyone else... Actually, no. Malekith, Tuco. Malekith is a fucking bitch, if we're being honest. The Beast Clergyman version, he probably would have been in The Guy from Friends, but the regular Malekith version, dude's doing backflips and shit for some reason. He's got a sword that does a fuck ton of damage. He's literally like, you can't fucking catch him. He's like, I don't know, like Shawn Michaels back in the day. Not Shawn Michaels, Rey Mysterio. Like, he's doing flips and shit for absolutely no reason, and it's definitely because he's tweaked out of his mind. Now, obviously, when you run into Malekith, he's kind of like alone and shit, so where to get the fent? Obviously, he had to make it, so, you know what? Yeah, he goes right there. And then we got our last one, Millennia. And if I'm being honest, I actually don't know about Millennia. I think Millennia does it 100%. There's no really question about it. It's more of, now is she cool about it or not? I wouldn't put her in the 6ix9ine category because who the fuck is she gonna tell? If you go all the way to her, like, you know, little chamber, arena, dungeon, whatever, there's like no one to tell. So she's definitely not in the 6ix9ine one. So that one's definitely disqualified. I think she definitely does it. So Heisenberg, my sister, someone who doesn't do it but will snitch on you for doing it, doesn't do it, and World War II. definitely like disqualified. So it's Tuco and the guy from Friends. So there's a lot of guys from Friends, but it's because like those are just the guys that do it. You know what I mean? They do it. I don't know if Millennia is like high enough to just make it herself. Actually, no, maybe she does make it herself because like she's like the second phase. She's like all fairies and like flowers and shit. You know what I mean? So maybe Millennia does land in the Tuco spot. I don't know how I feel about that. Now here. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go through all of them now and see if I feel comfortable with it. Starting from the bottom, we got World War II vet. We got the Ancestor Spirit, definitely. Estelle, definitely, and the Elden Beast. These like absolute locks. I can't imagine moving them anywhere else. Doesn't do drugs. The Fire Giant. I think the Fire Giant stays there. Honestly, I can't see him doing fent. You know what I mean? I don't know. How do you get fent in the mountains? To be honest, like it's pretty high up there. And not only that, like how would he ingest fent? Like I don't know if how do you do fent? Prescribed by a doctor. Fentanyl can be given as a shot. Okay, so that's what I thought. So as a shot, I don't know any syringe that'll be like, big enough for him to inject enough fent for him to feel anything. So I think doesn't do drugs is right. Godric, definitely in this thing. I doubt he does it. I'm pretty sure he's just a band kid, and I'm pretty sure if you do it around him, he'd be the one to tell, like, I don't know, fucking Godfrey. I don't know. Godfrey's everyone's dad. How about that? Godfrey and Renala, and they had sex and they made everyone else. Renala in the My Sister spot, I feel good about that. Honestly, it's mainly just the part of beating the shit out of him that just, like, it screams My Sister, you know what I mean? So I feel like it stays over here, and by it, I mean Renala, obviously. I'm not objectifying her, but I definitely just did that. I don't know why my homepage just showed up, but just ignore that, All right, the guy from Friends, this is the beefiest one. I knew it was going to be beefy. We got Moog. Moog definitely does it. We got Moog. Moog definitely does fent. I feel like that's a solid assessment. See, this one is the one I'm like torn about because Godfrey as himself, he definitely doesn't do it. Honestly, he would belong down here in World War II vet. But that second phase, man, he has a lion next to him or some shit, and then he just like injects a bunch of fent in him, and he just kills that lion for no reason, wraps his blood around him and shit, and just starts going crazy. So like, I think that's so polarizing. Literally 50% no, and then 50% definitely. You know what I mean? Rykard definitely does it. Honestly, I have some friends that kind of look like Rykard, if we're being honest. Just, like this blob who's like also, I guess, kind of sad. Like that, everyone knows a Rykard. Fort of Sex, yeah, he kind of, honestly, Fort of Sex out of all of these has like the least amount of personality for me, if I'm being honest. Like the rest, I can kind of give them a personality if they don't have one. Like Estelle, right? Estelle, actually, no, all three of these guys. Like, no personality, you're just a dead deer. No personality, you're kind of like, a fent vision. And then Elden Beast, probably one of the worst boss fights, not ever, because, Mortal Kombat 1, you fight Shang Tsung, and you can literally just molest him if you wanted to. Like, those guys, the personality is they're fucking just beings, you know what I mean? The Fire Giant, he has a personality, man. He just does shrooms in the mountains and he wants to be left alone. For some reason, we kill him, but, it is what it is. Godric has the personality of a bitch. Renala is my sister. These guys all have personality, except you. Personality. You know what? These two. Radagon and, what's his name again? Fort of Sex. They have zero personality. I'm kind of just trying to give them personality. So, yeah, I think he's just, the guy from Friends. Now, the bitch tier, these guys definitely are it. I mean, like, dude, Morgott, what more can you say? You die, and then his dad gets mad about it. You know what I mean? You kill all these other people except her. And then, like, what happens after? Nothing. They're dead. But this dude has a daddy, and that daddy does fent as well. I can't say that about her. Her dad in this tier would technically be my dad, and he doesn't do fent at all. Flaccid Penis, I think, yeah, I think he belongs there too. Flaccid Penis is kind of a bitch. He has that little phase. It's kind of like Radahn's where he's like a meteor or some shit. But like when Radahn does it, it's because he's Tuco. That makes sense. You're kind of just a bitch. You know what I mean? Heisenberg, honestly, Heisenberg is more like, since it's Radagon, I feel like this would be more like Walter White, if we're being honest, because he has no personality, like I just mentioned. So let's maybe change that to Walter White, because I mean Walter White still made drugs. Walter White. Okay, that definitely makes more sense right there. Walter White, Radagon, zero personality. You know, Cancer maybe. I mean, look at that. But you know, that's definitely accurate. Tuco, Radon definitely makes sense. The first phase again. Oh, not the first phase. I'm sorry. The first fight, a horse that's about to die. The second fight, a femboy, crackhead behavior. Malekith, just moonsaults and backflips. For what reason? No reason. Exactly. Millennia, I mean, you see where you go to fight her. There's Scarlet Rot everywhere. Scarlet Rot's Fent, by the way, in the Elden Ring universe. I talked to the Elden Ring devs. They said Scarlet Rot is Fent. They were gonna call it Scarlet Fent, but then too many celebrities died. So I think this list is pretty good. If you guys want to try to make your own and you know like send them to me, I'll definitely like debate these completely. Like we can have like a whole chamber of commerce where we're just like, well, I mean, does Godric really do Fent? And I'll argue, obviously, no, because I put him down here. But like, I feel like someone could probably bring up the point that like, dude, he's freaky with a dragon. You know what I mean? That definitely is like Fent behavior. But I feel good about this list. Let me know what y'all think about the list. I'll get to uploading content again later. This was fun, honestly. Yeah, see you guys.